Welcome into Viking Central. Thanks for tuning in. If you are watching on X or on YouTube, that's where we're streaming to right now. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm here with Austin. Austin, how we doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Vikings had practice today. Was open to the media, but obviously not to fans. That portion's done. That just means we're getting one step closer to the regular season. Looks like Justin Jefferson was back out in the practice field today. I'm going to take that as a win. Big win.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. He looked pretty good too. I saw him doing some cuts and doing some one-on-one or just doing stuff on the side. He wasn't practicing with the team yet, but it looked like his hamstring was healthy.
Yeah, and I feel like he's probably been healthy to do this for a while, but they're just playing it really, really safe, especially with Jordan Addison having a suspension for the first three games of the year. Now, Jalen Naylor's hurt, so we don't really know much more on that. Sounds like he might have surgery on his hand, which is kind of, I mean, who knows the severity of it, because Kevin O'Connell really didn't talk about it too much. But we're going to talk a little bit about the wide receiver spot. But I do want to talk about Alex Lewis released the article today, 53-man roster prediction, and there was a notable name not on it. If it was a different backup at a different position, people would be like, oh, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But it was your quarterback position. Sam Howell was not on the 53-man roster. It was J.J. McCarthy, Brett Rippon, Max Brosmer as your QB3, and Sam Howell getting released. Just your initial thoughts on that, Austin.
I mean, from what we've seen, it doesn't surprise me. Howell had a good first preseason game, but the joint practices and the game against the Patriots didn't look too good. He doesn't look like he's comfortable in this system. He is not throwing accurately like we've seen in the past out of him. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that much, but it's really concerning because I don't know how I feel about Rippon being our backup quarterback. That kind of scares me.
Agreed. I feel like if they release Howell, they need to bring in a guy from the outside, just to kind of solidify that position a little bit. But I just keep thinking back, like Kevin O'Connell has kind of talked about patience a little bit so far, early on in training camp, early on in the preseason, especially when it comes to J.J. McCarthy. But I'm wondering if that is kind of the same way they're going about it with Sam Howell. I feel like if they cut ties with him, I feel like they weren't patient enough with him. Unless they do have a different name that they are really kind of targeting, either, after 53-man cuts, if there's a guy on the waiver wire they want to grab, if there's a trade that they're maybe looking at doing. But like you said, I don't trust Brett Rippon coming in if he has to quarterback for 2-3 games. I don't know if I love Max Brosmer, but is he capable right now to go in there and maybe win a game or two for you? Would you be comfortable with Max doing that at all at this point, or what's kind of your head on that?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be a little biased as I am just as big a Gopher fan as I'm a Viking fan. I mean, I've watched a lot of his games, and I've been saying that he has a pro style approach, but he only played one season in Power 4 conference. He's coming in looking good in joint practices and in preseason games. I think he's a guy that could be a valuable asset down the road. I don't think I would trust him coming into the game this year, but I don't think it would be awful with how our team's built. I think he might be able to game manage some wins, and we run the ball a lot and we figure it out.
Sure. And at the same time, I think he would be capable. I just don't know if the coaching staff necessarily wants to put him in that position. That's a good way to stunt his growth. Say he does have a rough game or two, and it kind of just stunts everything that they've been working on. But at the same time, I mean, Sam Howell hasn't looked great. Brett Rippon hasn't looked great. He has been your second best quarterback on this roster, which is crazy to think. No one would have guessed that when he got signed as a UDFA. No one would have guessed that. And Sam Howell, like you said, he's been very, very up and down. Had that atrocious interception on Saturday versus who they even play on
Patriots.
The Patriots. And that's one that kind of will drive Kevin O'Connell crazy. I guarantee it. Just throw the football away. If we do look at some free agent options or anything like this, and we talked about a little bit pre-recording, is there any other options that really kind of catch your eye to kind of come in and be a backup?
I mean, and there's got to be a reason why Carson Wentz isn't signed. That's kind of where I go to. He's been on good teams. He has actually been a starter on a good Eagles team that he I guess he got hurt before the postseason, but he was on the team that made it to the Super Bowl. So I mean,
Sure.
I think that he would be a good option. He brings a lot of experience, but at the same time, it makes me wonder: is there a reason why anyone else isn't signing him? Because he was just on the Chiefs last year.
Yep.
But you got to think that's good experience being Patrick Mahomes' backup. So I
For sure.
just the eye test. I think Carson Wentz would be a great pickup here.
And he would probably make almost the most sense if it's just going to be a free agent that's still out there. I guarantee he would sign for a really friendly deal. He's from the area. I mean, that's something that I think it would be a really easy transition. Like you said, he backed up Patrick Mahomes last year in an Andy Reid style offense. So I think Kevin O'Connell would be open to that. I don't know if there's a holdup on that at all. Maybe he's not healthy or I don't know. Jameis Winston's another name that has been popping up a lot just because, like you said, we talked again earlier, Jackson Dart has really kind of been showing out. Is he going to be the main backup behind Russell Wilson, who's also had a pretty strong preseason? Do you really need to carry Jameis Winston then to be your third guy? I feel like that could be a situation, but in my opinion, Jameis Winston is not really too much of a Kevin O'Connell quarterback because he's pretty reckless with the football, but at the same time, Sam Howell led the league in interceptions too with the Commanders. So I don't know. Is Jameis Winston a viable option for you, or are you kind of saying not really?
I'd take that over Brett Rippon in my opinion,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, he kind of scares me. But it's another veteran guy, and that's my biggest thing is I don't like having Rippon and Brosmer who don't have any starting experience backing up our rookie quarterback. I want him to have like a backup that has been there before so they can talk and help the growth of JJ McCarthy.
Yep.
And that's kind of why Jameis Winston, I think he has shown that he's a great leader. Because ideally, in an ideal world, we're not going to see the backup quarterback in the game.
Sure.
We got to hope for that. I'm more worried about the developmental process for JJ McCarthy.
No doubt about it. Super important.
Yeah.
Make sure JJ is comfortable. Get him a backup that can be really trustworthy, and that's why I think they do really like Brett Rippon because he's like another coach in the quarterback room there. Really good for the locker room. Just has been around for a long time, but he's just not good enough to be your backup. Do you think they maybe do go grab a different guy if they do release Sam Howell? Because we know they want to keep Max Brosmer. I mean, that's kind of evident. Do you think they can slip a Brett Rippon to the practice squad and he can kind of just play from there? Or I don't think anyone would maybe pick him up off the practice squad, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Rippon would make it to the practice squad, but I don't know. It's kind of tough for me. I think that I'm trying to think of like how our coaching staff's gonna think. It's kind of hard for me to believe we actually cut Howell after going and trading for him. Just to be completely honest, I mean, I think we should. The way he's played, I don't care what we gave up. We just gotta let that go if he doesn't get any better. But I personally don't think we're gonna lose more assets to gain another quarterback if the foul doesn't work out. I think we're just gonna go with what we have here.
Yeah, and I think that they moved back like 20 spots in the 5th round or something like that to grab him. So it's not like they gave.
That wasn't a terrible pick.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was a great flyer by Quase. Nothing wrong with seeing the potential, and maybe he's going to continue to grow. Maybe they do keep him around. Maybe he does become a reliable backup, but we just haven't seen enough. I mean, if he even had like an okay game versus the Patriots, this probably wouldn't even be a conversation because he played really well versus the Texans. But it was just a train wreck. I mean, that whole what do you play 2 series is all? Like it was just a train wreck, which is really unfortunate. So I think he's going to get a lot of playing time versus the Titans on Friday. Again, this could be a whole different conversation. If he plays solid, it's going to be a whole different conversation. But if it's kind of a train wreck again, and there's interceptions, there's inaccuracies, there's pre-snap penalties, This talk is only going to get a lot
Yeah.
more deep. So I don't know. I mean, there's a report that the Browns are keeping four quarterbacks. I don't think the Vikings would keep 4 quarterbacks. I mean, this roster has
No.
a lot of talented pieces around it. I don't think they're going to waste a spot on the 4th quarterback.
Yeah, that I saw that with the Browns. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, no, I think we're definitely going to stick with 3 quarterbacks for sure.
Yep. And again, this topic, it's fluid. It's probably going to switch a couple times just through this week, and then especially what happens on Friday, last preseason game of the year. If Howell plays well, I think they're going to be comfortable rolling in, and if they need to make any switches early on in the season, but if he doesn't, I mean, it's gonna trigger some more conversations, and hopefully Max plays well too. Max Brosmer,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to get an opportunity. Hopefully, he can continue to play really well, and because what if he struggles on Friday? Do you think they could maybe slip him to the practice squad, or does he have too much tape out there that's kind of showing everyone that this guy can play football?
I think he's looked too good. I think Brosmer has to make the roster.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's just he has so much potential there. I think he has a pretty high ceiling too, and a pretty high floor in him because he's very smart with the ball, and if he can continue to work on that we're getting better in this offense, I think he could be like a long-term backup quarterback, maybe even as soon as next year.
Agreed. So what we're saying is we might get some Jameis Winston memes here for the 2025 season, eating some W's or whatever he's got going on next. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I would take him over here just to kind of get the vibes. The vibes would be awesome. I think.
Oh, I know. I think me and you talked about it a lot. I think that was both of our coming into the season when we were talking way back in like March and February. I think we were hoping for Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he's been one of our guys ever since May, April, kind of after the draft. Especially after free agency when the Vikings were crapping anyone, but he could still be an option. We'll see. Yeah. So speaking of options, do want to just dive into this just a tiny little bit. And we kind of teased it a little bit at the beginning of the episode. So Justin Jefferson is back on the field. Individual drills more than anything, wasn't really out for the team portion, which is understandable. They're going to kind of slowly roll him back in. Jalen Naylor is week to week. But Kevin O'Connell was asked, like, what's the extension of the injury or anything like that? And he kind of gave a vague answer, like surgery could still be an option, which kind of scares me a little bit. So that wide receiver group is getting pretty thin, especially with Jordan Addison being out the first 3 games. What do you think overall of that group? I mean, no one has really showed out too much in that wide receiver group. Yeah. Lucky Jackson's kind of been struggling with some drops. Jason Jones has looked okay, but mostly in like the 4th quarter. Ty Felton has a couple catches here and there. I mean, what do you think of that group right now?
I think they've underperformed. I think we were talking about it Saturday morning that we really want to add someone to our wide receiver room. This camp, I just don't think this is. I thought Naylor was a little stretch of a 3rd wide receiver to begin with, and with him going down, we might be looking at Felton getting some actual looks in the regular season if we don't do something. But I'm not too worried about it though, because I think Hawkinson will pick up a lot of the slack if we roll in with this squad. So I think we'll be fine there. And then even Jones, he was a receiver in college. I think maybe he could step up and try to. Although I think they're going to probably keep him at the running back, I just think that's another option there. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting situation.
It is. It really is. Like you said, they've underperformed. I mean, we're so used to being that group being pretty deep.
Yeah.
And Lucky Jackson started out really well, and now it's kind of just every single step now has kind of been a step backwards, unfortunately. So he went to be like being the favorite for wide receiver 3 to like maybe being on the roster bubble at this point, which is kind of interesting. Thayer Thomas, I'm really high on, but I feel like during training camp, he's making plays in the game. It kind of just, we don't hear from him as much. And I don't know what that is attributed to, but I feel like
no news is good news.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they do bring in someone from the outside. I mean, there's a couple free agents out there, Gabe Davis, Amari Cooper. It's the same names we've been talking about for a long time.
Maybe KJ Osborne
KJ
maybe
Osborne.
he comes available.
Yeah, he could, and that's just a guy that's comfortable with the system. We talk about Brandon Powell, not sexy moves, but moves that could help the team out for the time being. Daniel House from gopherhole.com. I think he's from gopherhole.com. He had a name out there, Trey Palmer from the Buccaneers. He's kind of towards the back end of that depth chart right now, with a lot of talent emerging with the Buccaneers. You got Mike Evans, you got Godwin, you got Emeka. I always butcher his name, but the rookie from Ohio State. So that could be a name that they maybe, come in. I think he scored a touchdown his rookie year versus the Vikings in the opener versus the Bucks when he played them. I think it was a couple of years ago, but he's a name that kind of intrigues me, to be honest. But is there any other names that you're kind of thinking about, or what do you think they do? Maybe they don't make a move at all. I don't know.
I kind of felt like we were going to have a move by now, to be honest with you. So that's kind of where I'm leaning at, that we're not going to make a move. But I'm really interested to see what happens in Carolina. I know we've talked about this a lot too, but I feel like they have a lot of wide receiver depth there. So maybe Adam Thielen slips through the cracks, and they think they can get a trade done with us, and they might as well get something for them. But I think we stand pat, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
I wonder if this is a name you've heard of. So I just got a text. It's not breaking news or anything like that. I think it's probably out on X, but the Vikings just signed running back Xavier Valade. Have you ever heard that name before?
I don't think so.
So, former undrafted free agent. Who was he with? He was with the Saints last year. So, picking up another running back. That's kind of an interesting move. So I feel like we got some guys there. I mean, we got Xavier Scott. You got Trey Stewart back there. Must want another guy, I guess, but
they must have liked what they've seen from.
Yeah, I got the text. I'm like, wide receiver? Nope. Running back. Okay, interesting. And I'm like, has he ever played wide receiver before? And I don't think so. So
yeah, that's an interesting signing.
Yep. So I mean, if anything does come about, we'll keep you guys up to date. But from now on, looks like they're sticking with their quarterback room that they have and the wide receiver room that they have. But it's only Monday. A lot can happen through the week. But yeah, Sam Howell, your quarterback 2 for now, and that's what our wide receiver group looks like for the time being. Viking Central. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video.